Okay, so I'm glad we all made it, especially the students, and thank you everyone for joining us today from wherever you are. It looks like we have a lot of Wisconsin students and of course the students in Kenya. Like Sarah said, we are recording the presentation, so if you registered for this webinar, you will receive a link later. Please stay muted during the presentation, and if you have permission to be on camera, you can leave your cameras on, but you can also turn them off if you'd like. If you're having bandwidth issues, you might try turning your camera off. That might help. You can use the chat box throughout the presentation to enter questions, and we'll address those at the end of the presentation during a Q&A session. And we've also enabled live transcript, so that's available if you want to use it. It's down at the bottom of your screen, and you can click it, and it'll start a live transcript during the presentation. So I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Jenny Christopher. I am with the Wisconsin K-12 Energy Education Program, also known as KEEP. And we're super excited to have the students here from Nakuru Day School in Kenya. One of the things that we love to emphasize, whether we're in the classroom or we're doing student or teacher professional development or in our curriculum, is real world connections, especially in energy. So we're really excited to have this real world connection right here. KEEP's goal is to increase energy literacy throughout Wisconsin and all Wisconsin schools. Opportunities like this are super important because it allows students like you to make meaningful and interactive connections with your peers from around the world. And we can also learn that even though geography separates us, there's actually lots of similarities between us and our peers from around the world. So if you're a student in Wisconsin, I want you to think about how this project is important to you as a student here in Wisconsin. For example, what are some opportunities that you have to do something similar to this project where you are? Or maybe what are some opportunities that you might find to travel or visit or study in African countries and related to projects like this one, as you're going to see later. And then without further ado, I'll introduce Sarah Winju, which is why we're all here. She brought us this wonderful opportunity. She used to be a KEEP staffer, and currently she's the advisor for the International Support Network for African Development Advisors Community. So welcome, Sarah.
All right, thanks, Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning to all the schools in Wisconsin, and good afternoon to all of the schools and students in Africa. I'm based in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, and last year I was contacted by the International Support Network for African Development about their need for advisors for their environmental education program. And I was honored to have been invited to be an advisor. So thank you for this opportunity. And I'm inspired by what I've learned from the students at the Nakuru Day School. And I hope you all are inspired as well. Like I said a little bit ago, it is 4:46 in the afternoon in Kenya right now. So it takes some work trying to plan a webinar to early morning and then later in the afternoon, but I'm so glad you all took the time to be on the call, and I appreciate that. So thank you for joining us. It takes time to learn about new projects, to listen to each other, to learn from each other, and I don't think we do it enough. So I'm so glad you could be here to learn from the students in Kenya. These students that will be presenting have finished their last year of school now. So they've completed their testing. They're moving on to bigger things. So we thank you for the students for going back to school today to be able to share with us. Also joining us on this webinar are other students from African countries who also received funding from the International Support Network for African Development, who also implemented environmental education projects at their schools. These other projects have taken place in Nigeria, South Sorry about that. And another in Kenya. So at the end of the presentation, I will ask all the questions that are posted in the chat. So if you have a question at any time, feel free to put it in the chat section. And then at the end, you're also welcome to use your raise hand feature if you want to verbally ask a question or make a comment. But at this time, I would like to introduce the Executive Director of the International Support Network for African Development, Adi, to introduce the program and the project the students worked on. And then he will be introducing the principal of the school, the teacher, as well as the students. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead, Adi. Adi, can you hear? Oh, looks like he was in the waiting room. He must have left. I'm admitting him again. Adi, can you hear me?
Hello, I can hear you now.
All right.
I'm sorry, just went off. So, good afternoon. Just to thank you very much for organizing the webinar. I'm very grateful, Biogas Eastern Africa, for putting this together. Actually, I just do a short presentation of Iceland Africa, just to give a little background to what we are doing, what we are into, and so, do I have the permission to share my screen?
You should be able to share your screen.
Yeah, I'm going to try that now. Okay, great. So, yes, I can see I have it. Okay, can you see my screen? Just to put in, excuse me, sorry. Yep. Just to put in presentation mode. So, 1 second, please. Okay, great. All right, so good afternoon. Adede Adlike is my name, and I'm the Executive Director for the International Support Network for African Development, Iceland Africa. Can you hear me clearly? Oh, great, great. Okay, so Iceland Africa, as the name sounds, actually the aim and the objective of setting up the organization is to raise global multi-stakeholder support for green growth in Africa, basically clean energy transition and climate resilience. But in the recent years, we have brought in other dimensions which involve conservation and biodiversity, nature conservation and biodiversity too. So we operate more in the green growth complex. And we're up to now, we've been running about 4 programs, initiatives, one of which is what we're dealing with today, which is the environmental education program. But just to give an idea, what we're saying in essence, even if you look at the logo of the organization, it has something round like the whole globe, and then we put Africa on top. We're calling it raising global multi-stakeholder support, and it's going across the world to raise support to lift up Africa for green growth. Basically, that's the idea of the organization. It's a network of about 1,500 professionals, researchers, and students from about 140 countries across the world. Our flagship program is the Mentoring for Research program, which is within the pillar we have put there the thematic pillars of each of the program. It's a capacity building program, just like EEP. But this is done at the university level, and the objective is very simple. We understand that Africa needs to develop renewable energy resource. We have huge energy resource, renewable energy resource. We have challenges with climate change and all that. But the challenge is that we have huge resources to solve our problems. We have the problem that we are facing. However, the gap in between them is the knowledge and capacity, which we don't have. And when we have students who come up with good ideas to solve this problem, at the faculty level in the university, they reject them. Why? These courses are simple, are new courses within the education system. And in Africa, many of us are still working with the curriculum we did in 1980. So because there are no researchers with expertise to supervise these ideas for research in the university, many of these ideas are rejected. So we felt, okay, guys, if you have any discipline you have, engineering, theater, arts, we don't care. As far as you want to do your thesis, master's and PhD level, you want to do your thesis on any topic on green growth, renewable energy, environment, climate resilience, and the likes, we are able to get you go across the world, like I explained with the logo, go across the world, get expertise for you, get somebody with strong expertise in the specific topic that you want, and link you up so it becomes a research report. We have the students, the students in the university, we have the experts that we get, then we call mentors. In this program, we call them advisors. But for that program, we call it mentors. And then we have the supervisor of the students in the university who form a research report to solve this problem. And this has been very successful. We have done impacts in, I think, about 55 universities across 22 African countries. And that is that about the mentoring for research program. Coming down scaling in, cascading it at the secondary school level is to say, can we look for secondary school students? Like in America and Europe, where I'm speaking from, we have students, different courses in secondary school level, where they teach students about the environment. If we actually want to attain a sustainable future, then we have to develop and equip those who will define the future themselves. And that's the vision of this program. So unlike in developed world where we have secondary school students understand some of these things from their courses in university, many of the African universities have not developed curriculum for environmental education at secondary school level, not even at the university level, at the secondary school level. So we're saying, and this leaves environmental education to extra curricular programs. This is why we took this avenue to enter into schools and see how we can empower secondary schools with this. And of course, what we are doing thus far is just the beginning of it. We have a bigger scope, I've been setting up clubs here and there. So that is the idea. The Africa Fund, I won't take your time with the other programs. I just mentioned them in brief. Africa for Nature Earth Initiative was in response to COVID-19, where we did nature, and because of the connectivity of nature with COVID-19, that's what we're responding to. And we did advocacy reaching over 6.2 million people within 19 weeks. And it's featured in several newspapers across Africa and Europe. The same thing with Green Growth Africa platform is a new initiative we have developed, but it's yet to be commissioned. So I want to take your time about that. I'll be more than willing to share, but because I don't want to take your time, I want to give the time to the students to be able to share their project. Sustainable Agriculture Projects is a project on conservative agricultural practices, which we want to set up a farm, but all that, I won't take your time with it. I'll just move briefly to the environmental education program itself, which is aimed, like I've said, I think I've explained a bit, to empower students in secondary school in African countries, one, to identify environmental challenges and needs in their communities, two, to conceptualize solution ideas by applying what they have learned in classrooms to solving environmental issue, and of course, gain hands-on experience and implementation in the implementation of the idea, which we support with funding, with mentorship. And thanks very much to Sarah. This is where she comes in. And she has gone beyond that. She was just really an advisor, and she has gone beyond that to even create a wider perspective and connectivity, which we are very grateful for. Up to now, we have had the program in Nigeria a couple of times, South Africa a couple of times, Cameroon once, Uganda once, Kenya. Kenya are the guys we are meeting now, so there's no need to. And we are grateful. I must acknowledge the support for this year, because annually we look out for support. For this year, the NAEEE, that's North American Association for Environmental Education, with support for Wells Fargo in America, are the ones supporting this program. That's why we're able to give funds. This is the first time we're able to give funds, actually. Thanks to them, they granted me a Changemakers grant, which we decided to use for EEP, and then to distribute to schools to support them. Thank you very much. So these are some of our support organizations, past and present. And I'd like to say, in brief, Africa is too rich to be poor. I choose to act. I do hope I did not take your time too much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. So inspiring. Would you like to introduce the school and the students and the principal?
Okay, I think Linda is on the call. She will be the best to do that. Yeah, thank you. Linda, are you there? If she's not, then I can do it.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Okay, thank you, Sarah, for this wonderful webinar.
Would you like me to be out of the room, Mina?
Pardon? Okay, As Mr. Aderuin has indicated that ISNAD Africa is running an environmental education program that is capturing schools. And luckily, Kenya was one of the beneficiaries for that school. In the call, we have Charles Kiarie, who is a principal for a school that has benefited at the environmental education program in Kenya. They are implementing a biogas project. Rather, they are constructing a biogas plant that will be used as an alternative way or an alternative.
Linda, I think she's mistakenly muted.
Yep, Linda, we can't hear you.
No, she's muted, probably by mistake. Linda, you are muted in case you can hear us. Okay, no?
Wow, sorry. So I don't know where I left it, but I can say maybe Charles can come and present to us what the school is doing about conserving the environment, and also they can talk about what their biogas project, because this is a project that has really enticed the students in the US. So Charles, please go ahead and continue with the presentation.
Thank you so much, Linda. Good afternoon, everyone. Here it's evening, actually. Sarah, I'm sure there it's morning. So welcome to our presentation. My name is Charles Kerry, the principal of Nakuru Day Secondary School. Actually, the idea of biogas came as a result of us having an environmental club in the school. And through the help of Sarah Shikuku, we're able to be connected to you people. And we are very happy that now we have already commenced the project, and the project is ongoing. Further information, I want to let the students do the presentation themselves, because I think they are the ones who took the young part of the project. So Jerry Fashion, if you can hear me, you can connect the students so that they can do the presentation. Sarah, I think the screen is still sharing what was being shared. I think if it can be removed so that you can share our presentation, I would appreciate that.
Yes, I think Adi will need to stop sharing his screen.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. And then who will be bringing, Charles, will you be bringing up the presentation?
The students will do that, but I can share the screen so that they can go ahead and do the presentation.
You should be able to share your screen now.
Okay. Maybe Sarah, you can share the one I sent to you, because I'm finding some problems here.
I can. Let me bring that up. I have it right here.
Yeah, thank you.
We're kindly requesting if you could share the screen. Okay, thank you.
Can you see it?
I can see it, thank you. Jerry Fashion, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, maybe the students can go ahead and do the presentation.
Okay.
Okay. Good morning, Sarah, and good afternoon, the rest of the people there. So this is Nakuru Day, and this is the team that is responsible for the biogas and the idea. So if you will slide the screen to the next so that I can start. Okay. So Nakuru Day is a mixed sub-county level school that was started in 1965, and as you can see from the screen, it has a population of 924 students and 49 teachers plus subordinate staff. Yes, the next. Okay, the students here, through our club, the environmental club in the school, we do activities such as replanting, garbage collection, maintaining the school clean, and also occasionally maintaining the kitchen garden to be in proper way. The club also engages in community services, community cleanups, and planting programs. It also engages in sensitization works in collaboration with churches and Red Cross and also Lions Club and also neighboring schools. Okay, this year we are really proud to work with the ISNA, which is the Drew African Environmental Education Program. Yes, to share our biogas project aimed in enhancing the use of alternative environmental friendly sources of energy. Kindly the next. Okay, biogas has a huge potential of decarbonizing greenhouse gases, which are, according to the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change, accounts for 14% of global emission. Okay, Sujuta informs that carbon is the largest emission of emitter of greenhouse gases, constituting to 14%. Yeah, biogas can reduce this by 18 to 20%. Next. Okay, like I said earlier, according to the IPCC, biogas can be used greatly to reduce the greenhouse gases in most developing and developed countries. The anthropogenic activities increases greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, leading to global warming. Many at times, the question that arises from us is how does this global warming come through? It is simple. Carbon dioxide is visually transparent to the incoming solar radiation, but absorbs the terrestrial radiation from the ground, which would have otherwise escaped the ground and made the ground cooler. So this makes, by absorbing the terrestrial radiation from the ground, makes the ground warm, and also the ground becomes increasing the global warming. So biogas has the potential to reduce this by 20%, as I said earlier. Okay, methane is the second contributor of greenhouse gases after carbon dioxide, but biogas has a means of mitigating this and reducing methane to the atmosphere, and also makes the soil, improve the soil fertility, and also improve the circulation of air, and also makes the environment greener, reducing deforestation. Yes.
Biogas will help to reduce greenhouse gases emissions. Institute of Economic Affairs noted that to achieve the Paris Agreement goals, the emissions from energy sources such as wood, fuel, coal, petroleum, it must fall to around 80 kg of carbon dioxide per megawatts by 2021. Only renewables provide for this future. So, biogas provides a means of mitigating to reduce the sources of greenhouse gases, or rather enhance the sinks of greenhouse gases. When deforestation does not take place, forests play a major role in climate change mitigation strategies. Forests are sources of carbon sequestration, taking in carbon dioxide, and green plants use it for photosynthesis. Forests accumulate large stocks of carbon in form of woody biomass and in forest, so it helps in mitigating climate change. Our dependence on wood fuel by the school population is the chief principle behind the decline of tree cover and loss of certain variety of trees that have medicinal and nutritional values. So her proposed solution is that all the waste, including food remains, animal and plant remains, produce methane and that is a greenhouse gas. Biogas system has the capacity to reduce methane, as you have said earlier, So reducing methane emission does not only have climatic effect, but also enhances plant growth because when deforestation does not take place, a wide variety of tree will be able to grow. So this will enhance the sinks of carbon dioxide. All this enables resilient communities to access sustainable energy sources in an efficient way using locally placed resources, hence its implementation. Livestock are already in place. We have around 15 cows. Materials for construction of biogas, as we have already constructed the biogas plant, and it is already
We may have lost audio. Oh, there we go. Next
Please, Dr.
slide.
Yeah, next slide.
So these are the benefits that the school is expecting: cutting cost of cooking fuel by around 20%, making some financial saving estimated at 20,000 to 40,000 Kenyan shillings, saving trees and effective use of powder, get organic fertilizer for us in the school kitchen garden. The entire school community will get an opportunity to learn on alternative environmental friendly energy use, a cleaner and a better community environment. All these are benefits and some importance of the biogas usage.
Kindly the next slide. Okay, implementation of the biogas project. Okay, after a successful application of the following has taken place. The procedure the necessary items and on that April 2020, after getting funding from the EEP and ISNAB, on that April, the school put up a biogas unit. After 15 days, the gas built up, and in the 22nd of April 2021, commissioning of the biogas project started, which we'll see in the ahead slides. Okay, in this picture, here, as the students who were digging the hole where the biogas was going to be put. So we worked hand in hand with the technician and we dug the hole. Yes, and that was it. The next slide. And this photo, you were helping the technician in assembling and putting together the biogas balloon. The green material there is the biogas balloon, and the pipe that you can see as students holding, and one of the pipes is where the cow dung mixed with water in the ratio of 1:1 is going to be put, and the other one is where the unused or the used cow dung will be moving out. Kindly the next slide. So here is a picture of the biogas digester after 10 days of our accumulation of the gas. It is not that swollen since the gas is little. The next slide. So here is a picture of 12 days of the gas built up in the digester. You can see it's a little bit swollen, but and this part here, this part, there's a part here that near the screen. That is where the cow dung mixed with water in the ratio 1:1 is put. The inlet, that is called the inlet pipe. Yes, that one. It's called the inlet pipe. Yes. And the next slide. So that's the photo of the biogas after 13 days, and the person inside there is a worker hired by the school to make sure that the cow dung is fed into the digester regularly. Yes, and there is finally the pitch of the biogas when it is ready to be used. It is really swollen, meaning that the gas inside there is a lot. Pressure is enough to be used. Yes. Okay, here is a photo of a technician making sure that the cooker is being installed in the kitchen, ready to be used by the school for cooking. Yes. Okay, there is the technician testing that the cooker is working efficiently, and as you can see, it's lighting, so it's working. And there is a picture of the cooks observing the cooker burning. There is a picture of the cook testing the fire by boiling water in a pot. Yes, there are the students, home science students. As here in Kenya, we call them the students that make meals. And here you can see them cooking. It was porridge, the cooking porridge, so that we could see if it's functioning, and it was functioning well. Yes, that's all. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. That was fabulous. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. I'm going to remove you from Spotlight. All right. So thank you. Super inspiring. Thank you for your commitment and all of your the time that you put into this project. Seeing that swollen, the balloon, almost like looking, it's crazy to see all of the gas that was created from how many cows? 13? 13 cows. So
yes, 13 cows.
So it just, we have a lot of cows here in Wisconsin too. So it's really just really inspiring to see just such a small project make such a difference for your school and your community. We have some questions in the chat, so I'm going to read those. And if anyone else has questions that they'd like to ask or something they'd like to say, feel free to use your raise hand feature, which is found in under your reactions button. So the first question I saw, someone is wondering what the age range of the students are at the school. So if you can tell me what your ages are, but also the school and what ages of students go to the school.
The students join the Form 1 class at the age of 14 and leave the Form 4 class at the age of 18. So the range is between 14 years to 18 years.
Thank you. 14 to 18 years old. Let's see, I'm going down to see if there are any questions. I don't know if Jenny, if you saw any.
Yeah, there's, oh, go ahead. You found one, go ahead.
Which meals are served at school? So how many meals per day? And then also, can you tell us a little bit about if the biogas, if it's cleaned or if there's some type of purification process before it's used in the cooker?
Okay, the school in school we are served two meals a day. That's in the morning and at noon, lunchtime. And before the dung is fed into the digester, is first ensure that it does not have any stones that will otherwise block the digester. So the dung from the cows and the wastage of food must be cleaned so that it does not block the pipe in the digester.
Great, thank you. Wauwatosa Montessori School is wondering, how do you get the dung into the digester? What's the process of collecting the dung and getting it to the digester?
Okay, there's a school worker who collects it and comes with it to the biogas digester. So the cow dung is put into a drum, a big drum, and mixed with water in the ratio 1:1. From there, it is stirred. Until it becomes viscous. So then we fed it into the biogas digester through the inlet pipe, and that's all.
Great. So you put it into a big drum, mix it with water, 1:1 ratio, and then pour it in to that big pipe that we saw in the picture. Okay. And then they're also wondering if you're planning or if there have been any conversations about solar or wind power at your school.
I think that's the project that the young people in the environmental club that we have left behind, we are going to encourage them to work on that kind of projects in the foreseeable future. So that this kind of projects working with you guys does not come to an end. So maybe they'll do a project on wind or solar energy next year.
I think that's what's really exciting, is that these students will be mentoring the next group of students and will be working with the younger students to continue sustainability projects at their school. So even though they're graduating, they're committed to making sure that that next group of students continues to do some great work. So thank you for that. We'll be excited to see future projects at your school. Can you tell us, Prairie Phoenix Academy wants to know, what does the emissions smell like after the gas is burned in the kitchen? So is there a different smell to this gas?
Actually, there's no smell produced from the gas because the gas is clean and does not produce any sort of smell.
Okay, so no smell. That's great. Susan is wondering if does temperature affect the gas production? She says, I see the collection balloon is exposed completely to the sun. Will the balloon need to be replaced after a few years?
The temperature affects the gas. That's why the biogas plant has been kept in the sun. When the temperature is high, there is maximum production of the biogas.
So the optimum temperature of the biogas production is 30 degrees centigrade.
How long will that balloon last, do you think, before it needs to be replaced?
Honestly speaking, I think that question is a little difficult because
maybe I could assist the students there. The balloon, the lifespan of the balloon is 15 years. So if it's not affected by anything else for 15 years, it's going to serve the school.
Great, thank you for that. Some students are wondering if you also learn at your school math, reading, writing, all of the normal studies that that these students are learning here in Wisconsin schools.
Yes, we usually attend all the lessons and at the same time a biogas project, so it's just possible.
Great. Yes. So yes, they learned all of those studies and installed the biogas plant at their school. Okay, so someone is wondering again, how does the gas get into the kitchen? And I think we showed in the picture, there's a pipe that leaves the biogas balloon and is piped right into the kitchen and is hooked into the cooker. They worked with a technical expert to get that part installed because that, as you can imagine, that could be dangerous. So they had to make sure it was done correctly. Some are wondering about school life in general. Can you tell us a little bit about just what school is like at your school? Maybe how your day starts and what you do while you're at school, and then the end of your school day.
Okay, we are the schoolers. We normally come to school at around 6 and leave the school at around 6 again. So we attend a maximum of about 8 lessons a day. All the life skill lessons included, such as this environmental club lessons, so their counseling and all the clubs in general. We usually have our lunch at 12 a.m., games at about 4 in the evening, and some short breaks in the course of the lessons.
Great, thank you. And feel free for those on the call, if you want to raise your hand and ask a question, you're welcome to. Otherwise, I will continue to read the questions in the chat. There's some good questions, so thank you for that. And I'm not sure if we'll be able to get through them all. We could probably talk all morning with these students, but we will have to end around 9:30, so we have about 5 more minutes. How many households will one biogas unit of that size serve? So you have that biogas plant at your school for the school kitchen. Is that something that one home would be able to use for their cooking, or would they use something smaller?
So that size of biogas is enough to cook for 200 to 250 people. So if a household of around 4 people will need a maybe smaller biogas than that, very small.
Yes, I would think much smaller. Maybe just 1 cow and not 13.
So maybe everybody should go and get a cow, and then we'll begin to cook. Yeah.
These are great questions. What were the biggest challenges that you faced?
You're muted.
Thank you. What were the biggest challenges you had researching and installing the digester at your school?
Okay, during the installing of the biogas, maybe digging the hole was a little bit tiresome.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I can say. That's the only challenge that we saw during the installation of the biogas digester.
And maybe to collect the cow, and you know, the cows the cows are working in the so it's a bit challenging.
So you said digging the hole was challenging and also collecting the dung from the cows. Yeah, I can imagine. What would happen if the balloon got a tear in it or ripped? Is there a way to fix it?
Okay, if the balloon got a that means that sorry, if the balloon got a tear, that means that the gas that will have accumulated inside the biogas will escape to the atmosphere. So there will be no gas to do the cooking, and also if it has a tear, there's no way that it can be repaired. You just have to get a new balloon and just do the whole installing thing again.
What happens if too much gas builds up?
So you have to control the amount of gas inside the digester so that it does not pile to maximum. So if the balloon expands to so much, we'll have to stop the feeding of the digester with the cow dung so that no more gas is accumulated in the digester, so that we maintain the pressure inside that it can be sustained.
Again, the biogas system has got a breather that controls the amount of, if the gas gets to maximum, there's an escape valve that is there. So a water trap valve that enables the control the amount of gas in the biogas. Thank you.
All right, thank you all. It is 9:29 here in the morning. And I know we were hoping to go for an hour. I have like 18 new messages still in the chat that I haven't been able to get to. Adi, did you have a question, or did you want to say something? Your hand is up.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, if the students, to be interested in the student can identify what they learned. Of course, we have seen the challenges they faced, but what they learned specifically in doing the project.
That would be a great way to
And
maybe close this up.
Including the mentorship, what they got from the implementation and the mentorship. Can you respond? You are muted, Joseph. Yeah,
Pardon, can you repeat the question?
I said it would be interesting to know, apart from having the idea, when you started developing the project, to implement the project, what are the lessons you learned in doing the project, implementing the project? And also, Sarah has been very available to you guys. What are the lessons you learned with the advisory support she provided?
Okay, one lesson that I can say we have learned, a huge lesson that we have learned is it's also, I can say it's teamwork. And also we have also learned the communication skills between each other. We have learned to understand one person. Maybe during the time we were digging the biogas digester, we would find someone shouting. We just understand the person. Maybe he was tired. Yes, I can say that's maybe what we have learned during this time.
Okay, great. Anyone else, please, of the two of you? Maybe something those are soft skills. If there are things, for instance, was there anything that struck you in the implementation of the project in terms of what you did not know before, you didn't expect before while implementing the project?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay, that's fine. It means that you had the proper planning, because normally when you're implementing a project like this, when you start off, during the implementation, you find some challenges that, oh, we didn't know this before, we didn't expect this before, and things like that. You understand? So that's fine. Maybe you had a very good planning. Thank you very much. Thanks to Sarah and the schools. And schools, we are very grateful for this opportunity. On behalf of Western Africa, I want to say thank you very much to Sarah once again. You've gone beyond what was expected, and we are really very grateful. Surely we're going to do a writing to you to see how we can communicate further. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for joining us. What I put in my chat is that what we'll do is I'll take all the questions that we haven't been able to get to, because there are a lot of them, and I'll send them to the students, and we'll see if we can get them to answer them. And then I can send them all out, and everyone will hopefully be able to get their questions answered, and we'll send that out by email. So if anyone has any final comments that they'd like to say, feel free to raise your hand. Otherwise, you can use your reaction button and give these students a round of applause, a thumbs up. We really appreciate all of you for being here. You're inspiring. You've inspired us all. So thank you and good luck with what comes next. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day, everyone, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for all that you do, all of you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You.
We appreciate it.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.